I expect a lot from myself, so I expect a lot from the people that work around me. And you guys lived up to it, and you guys lived it, you guys exceeded it. You guys provided great service, but it's too bad that a lot of the industry doesn't do the same.
I look at some of these reps that are coming around now and they suck clinically. The freaking drive and the motivation to go the extra mile does not exist.
Every little task that you do is never too big or you're never too good for any task or anything that's got to get done. Like, that's the mentality that you've got to continue to have, because
I'm looking at it from my father and my mother.
Right.
They came here. What did this valley look like?
Right.
And so scary compared to where they were from, their comfortability, but they had no other option but to succeed.
Right.
That's what I was saying at the wedding. It's like the only reason who I am to this day, and I'm pointing at you guys on that side, and I go, is because of this crew, and like they help me understand the importance about everything.
It's a couple months ago, and I barely get reception, and he calls me at 3 a.m., and I hear my phone, because the phone's here, right?
Sure, right. Oh,
Isn't it right there next to your thing?
Right next to you.
I was treated well. So the phone's right here. Sorry, a pillow fell down off this fucking Thomas! Pillow fell. So the phone is here, and he calls a 3 a.m.er, and I, like, get wrapped up like a freaking... Jessica, when she sleeps, she, like, spins me, and I'm, like, in a papoose. And friggin', I try to jump out and get like,
just take everybody with you. Everybody's going.
Like, dude, I hit my head.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna go see Dr.
Yeah,
Yang.
right. It's all good.
But like, that's, you gotta be reactive.
You're there. I mean, honestly, you guys are more reliable than my wife sometimes. But don't tell my wife that.
You just told the world that, dude. Sorry, Diana.
You gotta cut that part off, okay? So
cut that out, or let it go.
It's actually very funny. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, when I need something, you guys are there, and it's nice to know that. I mean, you guys are there even on holidays. You guys, when you guys are on vacation, you guys are there. Just like when I'm on vacation, I'm always working still. I get called all the time. You guys are like that for me too, so that's great,
Well, I mean, look, we don't take vacations.
And that's what
we
true
need to know.
Services. That's what true services.
Thank you for saying that, because I mean, before I started having a team, before I found this guy, right? We went through some iterations. Yes. We don't need to know who the iterations are. They're probably watching, but it's okay. You just didn't have the serviceability. But we've got a man who really, I got to talk to you, because you really just showed up. Yeah. And you are the perfect person, because this guy means so much to me, right? He means so much to me.
I was hard in the beginning. I was hard on you in the beginning.
Oh, my God. Yes.
I expect a lot from myself, so I expect a lot from the people that work around me. And you guys lived up to it, and you guys lived it, and you guys exceeded it a lot. So I mean, so you guys provided great service. But it's too bad that a lot of the industry doesn't do the same, because like I said, I've been in this field for 25 years. I work with so many people, and you can't find this that often.
Dude, look, I'll name some names. I'm in my own world. Like, you guys can't fire me anymore. So, look, David Paul, master when it comes to engineering. Master. I think he's growing way too fast. He's getting in this and that. He's getting distracted. It's like, go back to your fundamentals. Globus was built off good service. Even Medtronic. Medtronic's big, but I would prided myself at working at Medtronic because we had the best training. Mm. I look at some of these reps that are coming around now, and they suck clinically. Mm. The freaking drive and the motivation to go the extra mile does not exist. Is that a generational thing? Like these Gen X's, Gen Y? What the hell?
No, it's not. It's about how you're being brought up. It's your parents. It's how you're brought up.
I was literally I couldn't agree more.
100%.
The values that are instilled in you when you were young. That's what it is.
Okay, but say someone just luck of the draw.
It's so easy to blame society.
Bad luck of the draw. But bad luck of the draw. Say you had not the good upbringing. Do we turn a blind eye, or is there a way to help them?
There is, obviously. You need to recognize that and teach them. But those people, those individuals, they need to be able to self-reflect and want it themselves.
Yeah.
They want to be better. They want to be the best version of themselves. They got to want that. If they're not that way, then no matter how much effort you put in, they'll never succeed.
Yes.
You know, look,
I agree with that, and that's
I 100% agree, 100 billion times agree with that. And I look at an immigrant mentality, right? When you come to this country, like I'm looking at it from my father and my mother.
Right.
They came here. What did this valley look like?
right.
You know, it was freaking and so scary compared to where they were from the comfortability, but they had no other option but to succeed.
Right.
Because in generations come, that's what I was saying at the wedding. It's like the only reason who I am to this day, and I'm pointing at you guys on that side, and I go, is because of this crew, and like they help me understand the importance about everything, sense of community, working hard, because, dude, we're kind of blessed.
Kind of.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Supremely blessed.
Yes.
I mean, I literally I drive with my girlfriend Marissa. Shout out to Marissa.
What's up, Marissa?
And you know, we just we're driving back from your wedding, or we're on our way to your wedding, and we're driving to Half Moon Bay, and we're just like, this is our backyard. We've got the privilege to drive over here. We've got a great car. We've got our health. We've got our livelihood. We've got jobs. We can afford to be at a beautiful hotel and be able to celebrate a beautiful moment with great people. And people that we have just met, in the past 3 years, 2.5 years, however long it is.
I know.
It hasn't been a long time, but at the same time, it has filled. And it feels like we've known each other for so long. And just the way that everything works. And you got to sit back and reflect and be like, wow, we are really blessed in so many different ways. And you apply that to your work. You apply that to everything that you do. And every little task that you do is never too big or you're never too good for any task or anything that's got to get done. Like, that's the mentality that you've got to continue to have. Because it's just... No, you're not above anything else. Anybody can come in here and do the job that you're doing. And anybody can come in here and take the work that you're doing.
This is a very competitive area for surgeons, for representatives and business folks and engineers.
100%.
And it's like this valley is changing dramatically, right?
All the time.
It was vivacious. Now, like, you go and you see vacancies of some of the big companies and you're like, okay, shoot, things are changing. Dramatically. So how do you separate yourself from, it's even more competitive now, right?
100%.
The fact of the matter is, not the young kids are not getting jobs, but I'm interviewing like crazy. I'm interviewing on the Ohm Media side,
right?
And I'm, we're trying to fill 3 positions on the Ohm Surgical side, and like Jonathan and I are like, what's up, dude? What's up with these kids?
It's crazy. I mean, we lay out all of the instructions. Just follow the instructions.
Talk to me about that.
And you're good.
Tell them about it.
The interview process of us trying to find some support or extra help with us has been difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm a younger guy. I give, a little bit more like grace to what's been going on. Like, oh, it's this or it's that. But then it's like you lay out the instructions. Just do everything that we're asking you to. You will get an interview. We will talk to you. We will give you feedback. Everything that you're looking for in a job interview, we're going to give you all of that. And you have a very good chance of landing a job opportunity with us.
Dude, what about we won't say the name, but someone signed our agreements, right? It was a hybrid position to spend time on media with us, because one of our prerequisites for coming to work at Ohm, you got to do this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We totally believe in digital media that can actually tell a story faster than if I'm bothering you and saying, I got this thing, and it does this thing, and it's like better than what you're using now. Right. Like, you gotta be like, shut the F up.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't tell me what to do, right?
I'm a busy guy.
I'm a busy guy, and it's like, you can tell to sell a product, if that's what you call it. I don't call it selling anymore. I say, take a journalistic approach.
Right.
Ask the customer questions. It's simple. If I ask you questions, you start talking to me. And then I'm just storing in everything that you're saying. And then I will just ask another question. But I'm getting all this information. And then when I'm ready to deliver what I'm here to talk to you about, I got it all teed up. And that's an articulate, very well thought out way of selling.
Right. And that's.
But I just learned a shoot ton about the person, and maybe I don't get it on the first one, but at least I didn't well, I wasn't obnoxious because I'm doing all the talking, even though I do all the talking, but it is my show. But like the fact of the matter is, it's like I want to know about you and what your problems are so I can solve them in a way that I can. Not that I can solve everything. Like you're gonna have the asshole patients and caregivers and all that stuff, and then you have some people on the floor, all that stuff. We can't solve that, but at the very least, we should make your experience in surgery the best we possibly can.
Yeah, and that's, and piggybacking off of that, we were looking for help and somebody that would meet that criteria, and we're going through our entire like checklist of things, and like you were saying, we had somebody lined up, ready to go, signed a contract, and
day before they coming to
meet us in person.
We bought tickets, like we were very excited for this hire, and of course we're gonna talk about it because it's so fresh,
right.
And this person hires, I'm thinking I'm going to give them this hybrid position of surgical and media. It's going to be the first time because, again, we got to do stuff on the camera.
Yep.
And they just messaged us and said, oh, I decided I'm not going to be coming. Now, I didn't want to dig too deep, but there's a lot of resources that go on the back end.
Right.
And you know what I hate on being on this side?
Sure.
Everyone complains, and we're being thoughtful about this, of being ghosted by the employer.
They sure do.
We got ghosted.
It's part of life.
It's part of life.
And it's how you bounce back.
It's sort of like when you're trying to find a girlfriend, you date a whole bunch of people, or you ask a bunch of girls out. Eventually, one of them hopefully says yes to you.
Dude,
right, and you're gonna get ghosted, and that denial builds a strong character.
Absolutely.
Builds a strong character. 100%.
Obviously, they work together. They're finishing each other's statement.
100%. And we talked about this too. It was just we learned a lot from this sort of situation, or this whole process that we've gone through with finding applicants, with going through our interview process, how we can make things a little bit more refined. We thought we were doing things.
Should we let Dave do part of the interviewing? Has that ever happened before? Do you want to interview some of our people? Can you scare them?
I'm not part of your company.
Right.
But if they end up working with me,
they're going to be the customer.
If they're going to end up working with me, then I probably want to have a say in it, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, look, Jonathan's going
but I'm
nowhere.
not actually scared of it. They may not want to.
Well, dude, that's real.
That is real.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm hard on people that work with me, just like I'm hard on myself. That's the expectation,
dude.
Because I want to provide ultimately the best care I can to my patients, right?
Yep.
So
100%.
We had that conversation when we were in Chicago. You were talking about just you're so patient driven, and just all the patients that you see, how busy you are, and how many patients you see on a daily basis versus how much you operate. It's a small percentage, but you still operate so much because you see so many patients, and that speaks to you as the surgeon, as the doctor,
100%.
as somebody who has the bedside manner to be able to give very extensive care and help to somebody because you give a shit about the people that you see.
Yeah. You look, he's in the same predicament that I am, right? And I learned this from him. I learned this from you. Why you have to always answer your phone. I would watch if this guy's operating and the phone is ringing, and obviously it's in my possession, right?
Yeah.
I earned the right to answer his cell phone, so that was a badge of honor, right? And I play freaking secretary, and I take messages, and I'm going like, I don't want to miss anything, dude.
Yep.
But he's like hovering around the spinal cord, and it's like, Jesus H. Christ, how is he able to multitask like this? And he's calm and collected, and he's able to do certain things. Isn't that amazing?
No. The amazing part is he's in the middle of just about to implant a cage. He's hearing the measurements. He's got his nurse practitioners or his PAs coming in. His phone is ringing, and he's able to respond to every single thing. And then he implants it, and we get an image.
Athlete about being in the zone.
It's crazy.
Effing athlete. Can I ask you, how do you prepare for surgery? Because, like, dude, if you put that in a pill and you give it to him, like, Adderall and everything will go away.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, early in my career, I'll actually run through the entire surgery in my mind, every single step. But I've done it so many times now, after 25 years of doing this, or 18 years of doing this in practice, I mean, I don't have to do that anymore. So I already know what to do next, and so I mean, it's just from experience. But in the beginning, it was a lot of just repeating it and looking at just anticipating potential I'll call complication landmines that you might fall into, or you know, and thinking to myself, what will I do in these kind of situations? So I played through all that stuff in my head. And so it was very hard in the beginning, a lot of work in the beginning, but when you do so many times, it just becomes part of you. It's second nature now. And honestly, it's second nature.
But okay, let me ask you this as a follow-up. That's medicine. Do you use that same, visualization? It's a visualization kind of
you talk about
exercise.
that all the time.
I talk about it. Do you use that with other things, like say your fish tank, or like you got your Jeep Wrangler, shit you get into? No, but do you use the same visualization strategy?
When I'm relaxed, not thinking about medicine, and I'm an engineer, so I have to think about fixing things, building things. So I have a hobby about fixing my cars, and also working on my fish tank. So I'll plan in my mind how to build my tank, how to do the plumbing, how to do all the fancy filtration system I have, and all before I actually do it. I mean, I'll actually think of how long I need to cut this pipe, or what type of filtration and the organization of filtration I had to put into my fish tank in order to all before I actually do it. It's all in my mind before I do it. And so, that's part of the fun. That's all part of the fun, right?